Gauntlet.
Punching their tickets to the Global Gauntlet Finals.
Qualified for the Global Gauntlet.
They are to the finals.
Global Gauntlet.
Hello everybody. Welcome to Global Gauntlet Rewound, where we bring you the sets that you guys didn't see on stream. I am Fufu, joined by Popgun, and we have a set ready for you.
We got the reigning Division X champions, ezmd, taking on Swing, a team that is undefeated so far in this tournament. Now, ezmd has had a bit of a rough run of things up to this point. They've been taking a few games here and there. So this will be their last opportunity in round 6 to do some damage, going up against an obviously really strong Swing team.
Yeah, and ezmd, despite being strong on their own, they're definitely fighting an uphill battle here against Swing. But taking a look at the members, we have Silver, Devin 4K, I wonder what weapon they play, Phoenix, and Kiki coming up. Again, the X Power is pretty much averaging around 3,200 for these folks. But Stampers, Leaders, Blasters, of course, we haven't seen two Blasters. Both Phoenix and Kiki have the Blaster in their arsenal, but I think Phoenix may be more of a support player during this match.
Taking a look at Swing, you see Silver here using the Stamper. We got a player that you might recognize from the Stamper community, Mauricio, who's going to be playing in this game under the IGN of No Return. Actually, though, I think they're going to be using Blaster, which is going to be a bit of a shock considering we know this player from playing in our majors, I believe, going back to the 20XX tournaments. Was where they really started making their name using the Splatana Stamper with the Spider-Man special to great effect. But this time around, going to be using things a little bit differently. Also, there's a roller on this team as well.
Yeah, and Streamer Senna is impressive. They're 11 years old here and hitting at the very top of Splatoon, which, if you ask me, is just so impressive. And of course, I don't think Momo needs much introduction. That pen is spectacular, and Reimaru is iconic in their own right. So, two very strong teams. I'm excited to see how this is going to go down.
The reigning DivX champs are going to have their work cut out for them. By the way, Mauricio's XP well above 4,000. No one else in this lobby was even close to that as we take a look at the striked stages from both teams here in round 1, which is going to leave whatever is left that is going to be decided randomly for game 1. Hagglefish and Mahi Mahi Resort taken off of the board immediately. You got to be thinking about what are we going to do to get rid of the roller that we know is going to be coming our way. I'm assuming they're expecting the Stamper as well, even though it's going to be the Blaster that they're going to be surprised with. No, why is it always the random stages we want to see? The hub not even going to be selected randomly. Instead, it's going to be boring old MakoMart from round 1.
Hey,
Fair
it's boring
enough.
but reliable. It's boring but reliable. Who doesn't love a little bit of a shopping trip? And honestly, I think it's really funny because ezmd did what they could to get rid of those neutral stages and is right back at one of the most neutral you can get. The good old MakoMart. Blasters, Tri-Sloshers, I see no surprise on this front, but that double blaster is actually coming out from Swing. Pause. Is that Umbrella?
That is Umbrella. We can resume the game. No need to keep pausing. That is not a roller coming out on MakoMart as well, which is the bigger question mark here. But that is the Splat Brella that does have Inkjet, I believe. Inkjet really strong on this stage, in particular, if you can get it useful in the right spots. But you know what else is strong here? A good old blaster to the face.
Yeah, Blaster never fails here, especially when it's an S-Blast. Senna is really great at keeping that thing forward, but it seems that they're going to be forced back here. Mobo being the last player here standing, and as the rest of their team goes down, is going to be forced way back and almost dead to a Booyah Bomb, barely getting out of that. Look at that latency. Nothing good old Splatoon latency, isn't it?
So this is Europe versus Japan. Well, I mean, I guess everybody versus Japan in this tournament is going to be a little bit farther away, but still escaping death at the last moment. That seemed like a really late jump as well, but it's able to get away from it. By the way, ezmd has the lead. No penalty points as they keep picking away here, but somehow the zone goes back to Swing, but it's not going to stay there for long. ezmd is looking pretty solid in the opening here.
Yeah, and despite them losing 2 players, that's going to be evened out by Swing. But as I say that, it's just Devin here on the field, forced to jump back. Practically a wipeout in favor of Swing. And Senna is still ready to take names, pushing another player that's going to be Kiki back to spawn as well. But Senna is going to keep up that pressure, was supposed to keep up that pressure. Looks like Norishio is going to be keeping that up, also sent back to spawn.
ezmd being very scrappy right here, getting a lot of trades back and forth, canceling out the specials, even though Swing is still in control of things. ezmd is doing a good job of at least hanging around, and that's a nice splat on Norishio as well. Phoenix following it up with a great way to take care of the pencil, opens up the door. ezmd continues to hang around.
Yeah, indeed. And Devin here fighting themselves in a little bit of a tricky situation. When you have to fight a Splat Brawl, it takes 2 shots to take 1 player out, but they're going to be looking for some other targets. In the meanwhile, Swing does take that zone back in their favor, and their players are moving forward with such speed here right now. Just looking to try and send ezmd back to spawn. That is 1 player down on the side of Swing, and Norishiro is going to be trying to also take picks. That doesn't go quite the way they expect, and ezmd regains control of center all over again. I feel like there's just a lot of trades, a lot of cleanup that happens here between both of these teams at the moment.
I like the way that ezmd was able to get control of zone right there without having to use any of their specials. Unfortunately, they're not going to have anything ready to go because they got splatted before they can deploy things. All they really got is a wave breaker at this point. But that's going to be key for them if they can find a way to get back into this. Can they save their specials for when they have the zone and use them to create lockouts?
Yeah, it's the biggest question right now, but Swing is actually in full swing, trying to regain control right now because there's no penalty points for ezmd, and Norishiro is going to be pushing these front lines, taking some potential picks, 1 down on each side, and Silver does not get to live very long along with their teammate, and Swing still keeps things going here. They still have a lead to potentially take. That was 2 down on ezmd all over again. Again, the amount of picks that are coming out on each side, it feels like it's just a never-ending battle. It's stop-go for both of these teams, and honestly, it's pretty interesting.
We saw 1 attack on Momo coming from Phoenix on the Tri-Slosher that was able to open up the doors for ezmd to get control of zone. The question is, how are they going to keep the pressure on that pencil when everything is coming at them? You got to get the splats on everybody else first. Is what they're able to do. Now able to collapse on top of the zone with the bubbler in tow. So even though they're not able to get another splat on the pencil, they just got to work around everybody else and clear the path. Oh, did they not know? No return was sharking right there. I don't think they did, and they got punished for it.
Yeah, no, striking is so good. Swing with the wipeout in their favor. ezmd in troubled waters. They're really going to have to fight during this last minute to get out of this defense. With some beautiful picks from Devin, if you ask me. Just taking players out early, especially when you're this close to the defense. It's really handy, and so we're bringing that Booyah Bomb to the field and looking for extra picks. Norishiro is going to be taking that and punishing them. 2 players down on ezmd. This is looking incredibly grim as these penalty points continue to run out just for Swing. Pop gun. I think that's it. There's no way out of this for ezmd. That first game is going to swing as the whistle blows.
And now we're starting to see why Swing has yet to lose a single match, dropping only 4 games up to this point. They look really solid. They weathered the storm. There was a good fight by ezmd throughout that one. They were able to find ways to connect on some flanks here and there. They were able to find ways to shut down the specials the Swing was bringing out, but ultimately it's just too much firepower to overcome here. And even though they are finding ways to get splats, they're just getting splatted way too much. Even Devin with the E-Leader, 5 splats is a lot for an anchor weapon with that much range, and everybody else just falling a little bit behind as well.
Yeah, my favorite game to play is just looking at how the backlines are doing. In this case, Boba did really well, but I also want to mention the paint difference that Swing had in comparison to ezmd. ezmd had a lot more paint on their side, despite what the numbers may tell you. They had more painting weapons, but they somehow ended up with less paint? Question mark? That, whatever. But they were more efficient in their special usage, as you can see by the percentages. The EFF percentages are just how efficient they were in using their specials. The higher the number is, the more efficient they were with their specials, and they really didn't die with them.
So that's going to move us on to game 2 here. And keep in mind, where we are in the stage of the tournament, ezmd has won 2 total games up to this point, and they've been swept 3 straight times coming into this one. So they haven't won a game in 4 rounds. Now with Bluefin and a Humpback being removed, it's ezmd's pick. as we're in round 6 of the tournament, what do they have left in the tank? Can they find ways to make this a more interesting match to close things out?
I would hope so. I mean, the interesting maps are kind of gone. We don't have Bluefin or Humpback on board, but unfortunately, Popgun, it doesn't look like your wish is coming true. We're going to Eeltail Alley, the most stalled out zone in the entire game. Why is it so massive? That entire middle area is just a zone. Do you want a swimming pool or do you want a zone? The answer is both.
You know what's funny is that the strike system is slightly put into play for this stage specifically, because the E-Leader teams would keep picking it over and over again, and they kept winning in the Splat World Series. This time around, it hangs onto the board long enough to see if Devin can do some damage and get ezmd back into this match. No real comp changes, although we do see Senna going to the Stamper. That shouldn't be Mauricio using the Stamper. Instead, Senna says, let me see if I can show you a trick or two with this thing, old man.
Yeah, I also wanted to show off of Momo a little bit because they're opting to stick to the pen as well. Pen can bring a lot of pain to the field, but that range could be a potential detriment. That cooler is going to be potentially really helpful for Swing here as they do move forward. Reimaru with this jet just trying to take picks while they can. Going to get extremely punished here as they do get sent back to their jump point. The players of ezmd are running forward over here. Phoenix was able to capitalize off of a pick, just doing everything they can to get some pain on the zone, and finally it is going to swap in yellow. Swing finally on the back foot here after around 45 seconds, but they're not going to go down without a fight, and they are going to lose half of their players in punishment against ezmd during this conflict.
The question is, can they find ways to push up here? Is Devin going to stay in this mid elevated spot where they can get a lot of range off of this thing, or are they going to find ways to start pushing up, get to the enemy plat? The Inkjet of all things starting to push the Devin back a bit. Is Inkjet even tournament legal? I don't think people use it anymore. I mean, Ink Armor is gone, and while it's an awesome special to see used in action, you just don't see it used that often. We saw it on MakoMart. It's doing a good job of putting pressure on Devin right here.
Popcorn, you're stuck back in Splatoon 2 right now. Yeah, it is difficult to use those jetpacks when you have charges. A casual 2 down here. It seems like easy kills there for ezmd as they were able to casually get 2 players to Swing all the way back. Right now, Swing feels a little bit like they're struggling right now. They're forcing the back cut. Or as I say that, ezmd does lose 2 of their players, and Swing, just like that, is switching the tides and potentially moving forward. There's still a lot of yellow on the floor.
This is a good little stall out seesaw situation right here, and it seems like every time the Swing is able to get a splat, they lose one of their players in tow. This is what we saw towards the middle of game 1 as well. A lot more trades going out, and the more trades that happen, that just works more into ezmd's favor because it allows them to stay active in the middle of the zone, in the middle of the stage, that much longer. Spider-Man can sit back, absorbed about 20 punches before ultimately ending up on their way back to the spawn, as Phoenix now not on the Tri-Slosher anymore, but onto the N-Zap, still trying to be effective and push up for their team. The question is, can ezmd round the corner here? They attempted to do so. There's a sword that has something to say about it.
Yeah, Kiki was practically the last player here on the front lines for just a second. They do have Cooler active, so they're going to be energized here for this offense. I love how spread out the players are starting to become here with Phoenix forced to jump out as they did get a little bit ambitious, and Kiki's real quick to the cleanup, attempting to take Momo out. Now, that's a massive pick for ezmd right here. If you are Kiki, you are jumping with joy as there's no longer a major support for Swing, and honestly, that's a lot of their paint gone too. Now I think about Momo is their pink first, but as I say that, these last 3 ticks are up, and ezmd winning the game with these last 50 ticks coming by real swift.
It all came down to, can they find a way to turn that corner and take the fight into the alleyway, and finally ezmd was able to do just that. As soon as Kiki was able to slip through and start landing the blaster shots onto that catwalk area, it was about over at that point. Not to mention the fact that even though the Zipcaster was coming out and was doing a good job even getting the splat on Devin, there was just not enough time left on the clock and not enough support coming back out for the rest of the teammates to attack onto the zone, as ezmd finally finds a way to get another win, and they will be at least going to a game 4 into this match.
Yeah, for sure. And that makes it all the more exciting. I really want to look at the death counts because there was just so much bloodshed throughout both of these teams. I mean, the 3 were the minimum for the anchors, but it was above 5 for both teams. That's a lot of death, if you ask me.
yeah. They do be splatting in this game. The one thing that kind of jumps out to me is the lack of assists coming out from some of these players here. So not a lot of like solo fights being taken, a lot of just kind of one-on-ones being working out in some favors here. So that may just be an issue with the stage being more spread out. There's more different areas once you get cleared of that alleyway in the middle, to where the zone just being so big, maybe you just make more fights across the way there. But ezmd doing a good job on their counter pick, finally finding ways to establish control of the enemy base, and they're moving on with a dub.
With a dub is huge as things get evened out. A dub! But now ezmd now finds their turn to ban a couple stages here, strike them out. Shapeshift Cargo is going to be the first one, and Mincemeat Metalworks is going to be the following. Again, it's funny to see all of these leader stages get banned. It's just like, these are good for you. But I guess it's also good for Swing. It all depends, I guess. But Umami Ruins is going to be our Game 3 pick. Umami is an interesting one. It's very attacker favored, so I feel like this could definitely go in either one's favor, whoever really gets that first major push going.
We've seen Senna change weapons each time so far. This time around, going to be sticking with the Zipcaster Stamper, as we see no return coming out with the S-Blast there. Oh, by the way, there's the Forge Pro on top of things as well. So going to be throwing some Booyah Bombs if their Stamper doesn't get eliminated in the first 10 seconds. ezmd coming out strong.
Yeah, not an ideal situation there for Swing, and they are going to be taking complete advantages on the side of ezmd. Senna jumping in and getting taken out all over again. Look how many players are down for Swing. Excellent opening for ezmd. What a strong offense. Look how far pushed up they are. This is the perfect situation for ezmd, unless Senna comes in from the right side.
Oh, the Blaster getting caught off on their own, though, falling down into the pit. That's an easy pickings there for Swing, as they're able to capture the right side of the zone, but they're not going to stay there much longer. ezmd able to create a bit of a lockout. They had Devin pushed up onto that little circular ramp area there, ultimately had to jump right back down. But look how far up Kiki is going now. The Blaster getting back into the action with the Bubbler to work with, able to get several more picks, as Devin's able to find a way to back up, make sure they keep control of the zone. Swing's having a lot of difficulty breaking out right now. Are they going to get KO'd here?
It could potentially happen. This is so swiftly going to ezmd's favor, but Norishiro just doing everything they can with that Booyah Bomb getting taken out. That was a solo Booyah Bomb. There's only Senna left. What are they going to do? Senna can't do anything by themselves. ezmd with another knockout. What a swift game. Oh my goodness. They're turning things around in this tournament.
And all of a sudden, 0-5 ezmd is one game away from beating the undefeated Swing, who's 5-0 right now. And that was, to say that was a butt whooping is a unfair term to use in that scenario, because that was a butt whooping deluxe. ezmd got control of the zone and didn't look back. Devin never got splatted. Silver was slashing players apart with the Stamper, and Swing just uncharacteristically never took time to breathe, to settle into things. We saw a lot of desperation, especially there at the end. Let me just booyah in the middle of the zone and see if that works out while everybody's splatting and shooting at me. No, ezmd sped up Swing, and it blows my mind they're up 2-1 in this match so far.
It's so impressive. Listen, the Sleep Demons fear ezmd. They are not tired for this at all. They're like, we got this as the tournament goes on. And, you know, I don't want to say that I called it, but I did call it. I said whoever's going to get that first major push was going to win. And, oh, oopsie, here goes ezmd with another win. Now, the curiosity goes as to what's coming up next. The next strikes are going to be in ezmd's favor again. So they have the opportunity to pick a map that they really don't want to close this set off on the Urchin Underpass. There's no surprise there. Frankly, I don't think any team was going to pick Urchin Underpass, if I'm being completely honest. And Inkling Art Academy will be the following. But now Swing gets to bring ezmd to a map that they think they can get another game off of.
I was thinking the same thing about Urchin. I was like, it's kind of survived awkwardly long here, but I don't think either team would want to go there. Instead, we're going to be going to Hammerhead Bridge in a potential game match closing out game for ezmd, and I can never get enough of that jelly hanging on for dear life, and we're just supposed to pretend that's just a normal thing that happens right here. We're just going to play a game around that situation here. What comp changes are we going to see coming out? Phoenix still rocking with the end zap. Why not? Senna says, you know what? I use Splat Roller on my weapon form. Maybe I should use that now that we're in tryhard mode.
Yeah, it seems like the Reimaru followed that as well, bringing out the Splash-O-Matics. Not surprised to see those crabs on this map. This is a very attacker-favorite map all over again, so looking for those first major pushes. Crab already ready for Reimaru, but getting sniped out by Kiki right here, along with Silver. Already strong openings here from ezmd, looking to potentially take more players. Pretty even in terms of player count, if you ask me, but as I say that, Swing with a wipeout in their favor.
I think Senna is the equivalent here of leaning forward in the gamer chair, breaking out the roller. Now as there goes another Stamper, and now you just got an angry Hornet going right at you. How are you not in flow aura state right now? My goodness. Senna, calm down. It's just Hammerhead Bridge.
They let the kid out. They let them have it. That's so funny, but ezmd just doing everything they can to break out of this difficult situation. 2 players left on Swing. Momo using the jump point here, but Senna gonna get caught out, almost caught out, is caught out by that Booyah Bomb as the rest of the players of Swing fall here despite their attempt to jump in. Norishiro still taking a dick on Kiki while they're at it. And despite all this, the zone is still ticking for Swing.
Well, all the fights are being taken away, and you see the players from Swing jumping into everybody who's still getting splatted on the enemy side of the base. So they wanted to keep the pressure on and realize this is our moment to get the KO. Let's not give up on it until we finally get completely splatted out. Then we'll reset, then we'll reload, then we'll go in with our roller, and we'll take the zone right back again.
Yeah, this is where I get nervous though when Senna's up in the front lines, but they're going to get picked out and punished just as fast for that. But Swing is in control of the zone all over again. Swing feels so much more comfortable on this map than they did the previous ones. And again, hallway maps, I guess, are just built like that as ezmd loses pretty much all of their players in a delayed wipeout. And Swing now taking that opportunity, well, now a true wipeout, now takes that opportunity to potentially bring this home. Around 36 left in total to stop the match here in its tracks, and a little under halfway through the match.
It's just going to have a desperation Booyah Bomb now coming out from ezmd. 3 players get evaporated immediately. That's a splash having a party in your face. I think it's fair to say that Swing is a little disgruntled with how that last game ended, and I think they just took their frustration out on poor ezmd. They just wanted to win a game, Swing. Didn't have to do that to them.
That's a massacre.
My goodness.
It's a public execution. Oh my god. Like, ezmd, like, they were just taken out back. Oh my god. No, yeah, that was a completely different Swing. They leaned forward in their chairs. I'm speechless.
Reimaru saying, I got a splat too, guys. I did it too. By the way, the special efficiency, I'm not gonna try to explain math to you guys because that is not my forte, but I've been told that if you have a number over 1, that is a good stat to have. Basically, you're using your specials correctly. So a lot of crabs being deployed, they are not being used to get splats, but they are being used to create distractions, support teammates, get assists on top of it as well. And obviously the Snipe Rider never going down, getting 13 combined KA as well. Yikes.
You know, I need to talk about Reimaru for a second because I think the base, like the top you can get was supposed to be 1. We're at 1.07. I think we broke it. Reimaru was just spitting out crabs. You know, I'm just gonna keep the speechlessness, and we're going to game 5. That's all you need to know. Roll the maps, roll the stages.
And what we need right now is an opportunity for both teams to just breathe at this point. Game 3, a complete wild curb stomp for ezmd's favor. Swing reversing things right back into game 4 now. So we've just been wild haymakers thrown by both teams. We need a game 5 where both teams are able to settle down into things. This is going to be ezmd's pick after Swing eliminates a couple of the stages that are remaining. But who'd have thunk it? We're going to a game 5 in this, and it's going to be at Robo ROM-en is what ezmd is coming out here with.
Oh my goodness. One, what was going on with that jellyfish's head, the poor thing. And second of all, Robo ROM-en is going to be chaos. I think this is a perfect way to end the set. You have a bunch of options there in center. But again, it goes back to being an attacker-heavy map. You don't want to be locked on this map. They're right under your spawn. And God forbid there is a weapon that can reach you all the way from the bottom. Just the midliners can be just menaces on that defensive position.
ezmd is going to have to weather the storm of what is probably Swing using the weapons they might have been using it through the entire time. Sino coming back out with the roller yet again. But one little wipeout could be the difference, and ezmd could pull off a massive upset here. The question is going to be, how are they going to weather this roller who's going to be coming in right off the bat? How does that even work? Getting one splat, getting a second. So it's not a complete wipeout, but here comes the rest of the team of Swing to follow up with it.
Popgun, it reminds you of that one seed from the Crudes, I think it's called, where they're like, release the baby. That's what it feels like. Look at them go. They're just going. Unfortunately, not finding anyone this time, but the rest of their team is capitalizing off of that hella. That is 60 points remaining on the zone for Swing, and ezmd still trying to scramble to recover. Devin with an excellent pick on Norishiro, but the zone remains in green. Phoenix, you want to take out that roller. You don't want Senna to be alive much longer, and the zone finally flips in ezmd's favor.
There's been a lot of punches thrown by Swing, and ezmd's finally finding ways to get settled down here, even getting another pick on the roller on top of that right now. So that means everybody else is going to be right in front of them. They're not going to have to worry about flanks immediately. They can just keep an eye on things and start building up points onto the zone. This is a moment for ezmd to breathe. Of course, I say that, but this player knows nothing except hold forward. I'm just going to have a party in the enemy side of the base the entire time, and I'm going to keep throwing my roller until it connects with something. Swing still on top.
Yeah, I'm getting nervous for ezmd. With this much green on the field and this much pressure that's coming out of the front lines, it feels like ezmd hasn't had a chance to fully recover from the stagger that they've been feeling for the last almost 2 minutes here. It's about 1 minute 40 seconds. And Swing still feels like they got so much energy to go through.
Penalty points gone already. The roller eliminated as well. It's a 2v2 situation. Blasters and Chargers, the only thing left alive. No return. Gets a splat on Kiki and might find a way to get a double on top of it, but no, it's the roller buying enough time, coming down, canceling the splashdown and getting out of the way. Yikes. Swing. Where was this in the first 3 games? You lean forward in the gamer chair, you take care of business the last 2, and now you see why this team has been undefeated the entire time. They close out the tournament 6-0 against the West.
That is beautiful gaming from Swing. I'm impressed. Again, you couldn't have said it any better. They just lean forward in their chair to call it a day. Momo didn't even die. Not once.
Well, when were they ever going to get to them?
Good answer.
You get the splat on the roller, and then the roller just comes right back. And oh, by the way, Reimaru able to follow up every time the roller was going in, even if they're not getting the splats with it. They're slowing down an attempt by ezmd to once again start pushing up and start pushing back that sniper rider. ezmd still able to cap the zone and had some good moments there, but that roller just kept on coming. That never stopped. Even with 6 splats, they're just going to keep moving forward and try to get more and more connections. And all it takes is 1 triple to close things out. Credit to ezmd, though. I think it's fair to say they didn't get the best effort from Swing at the beginning of it, but they hung around. They made a match of it, and they had some moments in the end there, but Swing's just a little bit too good.
Yeah, I feel like ezmd just got caught in that endless stagger, and I feel bad for them to an extent. So they got that false hope, but yeah, Swing able to close things out by the end of the tournament. Just some excellent gaming. Again, some prime gamer positions of leaning forward in your chair. What a good set.
And these are the best 6 teams ezmd has played in their team's history. This is a great opportunity for them to grow and improve. Even though they only won 4 games in this tournament, it might have been 4 more than what they were expecting going into this one. And that's no disrespect to ezmd. That's just credit to how strong of the opponents that they're going up against here. So this is just the beginning of good things to come for ezmd and the rest of the teams from the West. That being said, we are going to wrap it up here from this edition of the Global Gauntlet Reround. I am Popgun, joined by Fufu. We are going to call it here. Stick around, subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be more content being released around this tournament and more information about future Global Gauntlets and the Splat World Series as well. Good night.
Good night.